Well, good evening, everybody. Or should I say early to mid-afternoon. Now, I don't know about where you guys are, but where I am, it is hot as hot things. No, it's been, we've had an exceptional heat wave up here in Oregon. Um, yeah, it's been pretty insane. I think yesterday it was up around 103. Right now my watch says 100. And the fun part is I guess it was after my last Zoom a few days ago, I went to take a drone flight to um, take a drone flight to get a photo of the sunset. And on the way back, the drone just starts, says motor failed, and just starts tumbling end over end. And it crashes into the woods somewhere, really close by, within, a quarter of a mile. So, the drone controller tells me that's one GPS coordinates. I talked to DJI, they gave me another set. So I've been over there 5 times. And the reason why is and here's a pro tip for anybody who's into expensive electronics. Buy all of your stuff from Best Buy and pay the $200 for the total tech guarantee. Because with that guarantee, and you pay it yearly, you can walk in there, buy a computer, go out in the parking lot, open the box, drop it on the ground, break it, walk in, and they'll hand you a new one. And I think after the first replacement's free, then it's like $20, then it's $50. I've gotten 5 drones replaced from them, and I've only purchased 2 from them. But without the drone, like they can't honor the warranty. So after this is over, I'm most likely going to strap on my heavy duty pants in 100-degree weather and go trudging through Oregon Grape on a steep hillside trying to find my drone because I use it for work. It's an integral part of my kit. And that's, the hardest part about it. If it was just a hobby thing, it'd be one thing. But, being in my current state where, I'm trying like hell, killing myself to get my business off the ground, and I get an offer the other day to do a drone gig for a couple $100. I couldn't do it because I didn't have a drone. So anyway, enough about all that. Welcome to the first episode of T3Live in a while. Yeah, I have just been so insanely busy. After my last crowdfunding campaign, and I'll talk about the current one here in a minute, that campaign, even though I didn't come close to my goal, um, I met a lot of really awesome people who've been helping me with the business side of things. And that's the problem with a lot of outdoor educators is, I have the skills to teach you to survive out here, but I don't have the skills to do all the business stuff. Combine that with, social media accounts that are banned from advertising for some unknown reason. I've just had so many things uh, just got not go good. And I'm over it. And I'm over it. And, as much as I didn't want to, and I hate asking for help, I started a second crowdfunding campaign. And I'll put a link to that in the show notes once we are done. I was really blown away by how quickly, uh, people started donating. I think I'm looking for 20,000. Um, And I think I've already raised over $1,000 in just about a week. And you know, I'm doing it for a couple reasons. One is I am literally working myself to death. I mean, those of you who might be watching who've known me for a while, I mean, look at me. I'm skin and bones. Part of that is due to the fact that I work so much that I'm like, oh, it's 8:30 at night and I haven't eaten yet today. But the other part is the stress of all of this has caused my Lyme's disease to just go nuts. And, it's gotten into my heart. They tell me I'm going to need a heart valve replacement and a pacemaker sometime in the next, 5 years. That's hopefully I'll have insurance by then. Um, and I'm learning all these new business skills, and I have some great mentors that I met from my last campaign who have been walking me through some of this stuff. But they're not paid employees. They're helping me on their spare time. And talk about the true definition of a caretaker. That right there, giving your precious time to somebody else to help them, take another step on their path, on their vision, is the definition of a caretaker, one of the many definitions of a caretaker. So to those of you, my brain trust, to the random folks who've sent me emails to check out various things, thank you so much. Because those skills and those skill sets are just as valuable as money. However, money is something you need to live. And through that campaign, I have managed to book classes in Alaska. I was actually supposed to be leaving for Alaska on Sunday, but we had to push the trip back because the person who booked the class had some family obligations they forgot about. So through this whole process, and I've managed to book. I think I've got 7 classes on the books, but I've only been able to collect deposits for them. You know, that way, if something goes wrong, I can refund them part of their deposit. I don't collect the full amount until the class is over. And as of right now, the next class that I have coming up is September 1st through 4th in Nevada City, down at Rick Barry's place, 4eee.org. I will put that in the show notes. We're running a family program called The Way of the Caretaker, and it's about ways to get our children away from the screens, back into the woods, like us older folks had to do when we were kids, and teach them how to be stewards so that they leave the earth better for the next generation. I'm trying to create this tidal wave, this army of caretakers, just a huge group of people whose single-minded focus is to make, everyone and everything, every place they come into contact with better than when they found it. And, it's been interesting. And as I kind of do my sit spots when I have the chance and think about it, I've started to put up this multi-part Way of the Caretaker class that's on YouTube. You just go to, there's a playlist for it. I think there's 3 episodes so far, and I'm working on a fourth. But yeah, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but we need to change the way we live, change the way we treat each other, change the way we treat the, approximately 9 million other beings that we share the earth with, and kind of usher in an era where we come to the realization that, hey, crap, in the last 20,000 years or even less, we have gone from a pretty much pristine planet to one that is, polluted, and we just take and we take and we take for more plastic cheap junk that ends up in a landfill a few months later. That's why this time around I decided to go with GoFundMe. And before I, built my campaign, I went through there and looked at some of the other projects and businesses. And, there's some great causes on there. So, but like most of it is, plastic things or electronic things that are just going to be outdated in a couple of years and end up in a landfill. And here these folks started off their campaign asking for $50,000 and they've raised like 3 million. And I'm over here by myself like, hey, I'm trying to save our only home and re-educate people on how to be better people and be their ideal selves and find their vision and walk their path. And I just don't get it. It's like the further we get into the technological era, the less nature matters. And that literally brings me to tears. Um, because, there's so much, as I sit here and look, I'm in wide angle vision looking at the camera, but I'm watching all sorts of birds flitter around as it cools down in the dappled sunlight. And I'm watching the oxalis kind of open up again as the sun kind of moves away from it. And there's just so much amazing things out here. And I just, want everyone else to see the world the way I do. I want everyone to be free, by learning the skills of our ancestors. If they ever have to flee into the woods and live, they have the skills to do so. I want to make sure people are prepared in their homes and have, all the things needed, for every member of their household if they have to shelter in place for 2 weeks, or, go bags if they have to go. I'm just trying to kind of do what I've always done, and I was really blown away when I started the initial campaign, this new one, and I'll put a link in the description after the stream is over. I raised quite, I was asking for 20 grand, and I think I'm at 1,092. Um, as much as I despise money, I can't run two businesses out of the back of a Subaru Crosstrek with a 15-year-old cattle dog that is on her way to the field and to the field and the forest and the sky, but she's not quite there yet. And, this whole process has taught me about budgeting. And, I have to spend, $2,000 a month before I can even think about things like buying food, between my rent, between my car payment and my insurance and my, liability insurance for my school and my insurance for all of my electronics, and, the spousal support for my ex, uh, you know, so yeah, I got to come up with at least that much just to, keep a roof over my head. And then I gotta, come up with a little more so I can feed myself. And at this point, I have cut and chopped every single bit of fat off myself. And, the subscriptions to services, I went on there when this initially happened and I was like, there were apps I was paying for like the last 6 years. I was paying like $2.99 a month. And I don't know how that stuff slipped by me, but that's the way they design it to be. So you forget about it and they just sit there and make money. Um, and I could try and do some scammy stuff like that, but that's not me. That's not who I want to be. That's not the person I want to be. I want to be, as I said, that caretaker. So, by spreading the word about my campaign or donating to my campaign, you are helping me lift this business, this future nature and T3 photography off the ground. Through my last crowdfunding campaign, I've got 6 or 7 classes booked that are coming up. But those of us that are outdoor educators know you don't collect the full amount for the class up front. You get a deposit and then you get paid the rest when the class is done. Well, when your next class is, a month away, what do you do in the meantime? So I'm trying to find odd jobs to do, and I've got my photography business, and I've picked up a few gigs there. Um, but I just need, I need that kind of safety blankie so that I am not operating from a place of adrenaline and fear and anxiety. And because when I do that, I'm not going to run the best class I can, because I'm going to be worried about all that stuff. So, I just want to get to a point where, I've got a few months of rent in the bank. I've got money to, pay for something if something breaks on my car, buy some better food. And most importantly of all is rest. Like, I have not taken a full day off, and I couldn't even tell you when the last time I did not spend a full day where I did something that was not in some way, shape, or form related to work, related to to the vision. And all of that work is what's slowly just wearing me down and wearing me down and wearing me down, to the point where, one day I might just, you know, hopefully I'll become enlightened enough that I will transition into into the next dimension where all the enlightened people go. Not actually dying, just kind of switching into the multiverse. But yeah, I'm not quite there yet either. But the people I've met have been so amazing, and continuing to have people reach out and inquire about classes. And I've switched to doing mostly online classes for the time being, because I can teach people all over the world. I just ran a sale on my all-in-one webinar series, which is all 8 of my webinars, which you can get for $375. If you buy them all individually, they're over $600. But if you buy the all-in-one package in the class packages deal, it's $375. I just had a sale on that and picked up a few students, not nearly as many as I would have liked, but you got to get the word out there. And me being kind of hobbled by this lack of my social media accounts being shadow banned or whatever they call it. It's just hard to get the word out there. One thing that is amazing about my father is, he never had to do any marketing. His marketing was his books and word of mouth. I still remember being a little kid, and every year, we would release the schedule on right around the first of the year. And back then, everything was a mailing list. There were no emails. So starting just before Christmas, we would have to start making pamphlets and stuffing anywhere between 5 and 10,000 envelopes. Writing the addresses on them, putting the stamps on them, taking them to the post office. They definitely make marketing easier nowadays. I'm glad I don't have to do that. But yeah, he never had to worry about marketing, and he still doesn't. Um, but yeah, having that ability uh, taken from me is a real pain in the ass. So, but yeah, so, like I said, I have managed to book some classes. I've met some amazing folks. I've met some amazing folks with other organizations I'm going to be collaborating with. I mentioned Rick Barry from 4EEE. Um, so yeah, I want to continue that wave of just, binding us all together, all of us that run outdoor school organizations that teach a deeper connection with nature, bring us all together, and help each other. Because in the long run, that's why you're sitting here right now, is because your ancestors, your hunter-gatherer ancestors, not only were they masters at fire by friction and tanning hides and building shelters, but they were, division of labor. There was a group of them. That's why the myth of the lone survivor. Yes, it is possible to survive on your own, um, if you have enough skill, but it is a lot of work, even in the most ideal of conditions. So, yeah, more than anything, we need to work together. A couple other awesome things I wanted to bring up. So, I am doing, for the first time in a long time, my dad and I are going to be teaching an online class together. And I'll be out here on the west side. He'll be on the east coast. And we are running a nature photography program. Now, uh, I've been taking photos since my father gave me my first Nikon camera in 1983. And hanging right near my desk is a photo of me taking pictures of sandpiper tracks on the beach that he took of me that day. I think it was birthday or Christmas that he gave me my first camera and lens, and it's something I've been passionate about ever since. I like to think of T3 photography as, showing the world how I see nature, by taking my time, by moving slowly, by heightening my awareness. I can find amazing, beautiful things no matter where I go, even in the city. So that class runs, I believe it is the September 23rd and 24th. And I think it's from 1, so it's 2 nights, and it's from 1 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So you can, if you want to learn more about it, you can go to my website, and there's some info there. If you click the link, he's handling registration, so it'll take you to his website where there's even more info there as well. But the title of this one, it's kind of misleading. Fear, I shall not fear. And if anybody's familiar with the Dune series of books, it's called the Litany Against Fear. And I am terrified of going broke. And I found that I was worrying about all these things in the future that I didn't have control over at that moment. And then a while back, I came to the realization that, just like my dad says, all that I am is now, right? All that I am is now. Tomorrow doesn't exist. The past is in the past. Hopefully, you learned both good and bad lessons from the past. You don't repeat the bad ones. You repeat the good ones, and we move forward. And ever since I've adopted that mentality, as much as I can, I've been, I've got a lot of my spark back. And, we are what we think. Just like I tell my survival students, if you get caught in a survival situation and you mentally give up, you are done for. But if you maintain that positive mental attitude and say, I am going to make it out of this no matter what, you'll make it out. So I'm having to rely a lot upon my own lessons that I've been passing on for years. So yeah, I'm super excited to finally do that class with my dad. Yeah, really looking forward to that. So one other thing, many months ago, I announced I was over at a friend's house who is a logger, not a logger, but he cuts, fine types of wood for countertops and things like that. Sorry, hot out here. And in the back corner of his barn, I found this, curved piece of oak that's about 2 inches thick. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do a raffle, a throwing stick raffle. And um, so I put a thing up, and I didn't really get that many tickets. So here is the blank for the first stick that I'm gonna start rounding out and smoothing out soon. Maybe be able to be used as a gun stock war club or a throwing stick. The second one I'm going to make is going to be a different design, a little bit longer. Both are going to be beautiful because the grain on this oak is fantastic. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to do a throwing stick raffle part 2. So if you go to my website, and I'll put a link in the show notes afterwards, for the next few months, I'm going to continue to run a raffle. It's $20 a ticket, gets you a chance. You can buy as many tickets as you want. And once I have completed both of the sticks, actually, as soon as I'm done with this live show, I'm going to go cut the other one out. I will pick 2 winners from the list of people who have purchased this $20 raffle ticket. So you can go onto my website, and the banner, there's if you click that, that'll take you to the thing. Otherwise, it's in the school store section. So speaking of the school store section, one other thing I've gotten into recently is, many people are like, wow, your photos are so awesome. You should put them on shirts and clothing. And I'm like, yeah, I should. But I just didn't know how to shape and design them. And I finally found a program, and I have been cranking out t-shirt designs like they're going out of style. I wish I could I should have queued up a short slideshow of some of the designs. But if you go to the school store section of my website, you'll see some of said t-shirt designs. Pretty much any photo of mine, let's say you want a shirt, and I don't have that photo on a shirt, I can get one made for you. And I can get my photos printed on anything, and I'm not even kidding, from toilet seats to shower curtains to bath mats, you name it. I can get it printed on it. In fact, for one of my photo clients, I'm about to get a 40 by 60 and 40 by 60 inch metal photo of the sun setting on Mount Hood, but it's going to be broken into three separate panels. And then she'll hang them on the wall, so there's just that little space between. And that one is going to be epic, although I'm terrified of getting it printed and having there be something wrong. And yeah, just shelling out a lot of money to have it printed because those big print jobs like that are pretty expensive. Um, yeah. So last but not least, before I wrap this up, I just want to let you all know that I appreciate the emails and the calls and the text messages and the words of encouragement. I know you all are pulling for me, and if I can just get through the next like 3 to 4 months, I will be golden. It's just the interim time till I can run these classes and collect the revenue from them. So it's so yeah, it's a struggle, and I don't want to struggle. I don't want to take the occasional day off. You know, some good friends of mine just came and visited me recently from Illinois. They magically showed up because they knew I was lonely, and it was so good to see them. And just made me, remember what it's like to have, good friends close by. Yeah. Hold on one second, gang. I want to check the camera and make sure it's not overheating. Yeah. Oh, no, we're good. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I will put up all the links to all the things I was talking about. As far as my GoFundMe campaign goes, please share it far and wide. I'm not just sitting here on my ass looking for an easy payout. You can ask the people that have visited me recently, my friends. I sat here and worked the whole time while they helped my landlords with a building project. Because I was so busy just trying to throw all sorts of stuff to the walls to see what sticks and figure out what the magic formula is, and why I'm having such difficult times. Um, you know, I've faced down my fear. At least I think I have, of going broke. And another thing too is people tell me, just get a part-time job, and I'm like, nobody's gonna hire me when I'm like, yeah, I can work for 3 weeks, but then I gotta go away for 5 days, and then I'll be home for 2 weeks, and then I gotta go away for 7 days. Like even friends of mine that have businesses, don't want to hire, don't want to hire somebody like that. They need reliable people. So, that's why I went in all, because that's, how deeply I believe in what I do, and how profoundly, how profound of an effect nature connection has on my students. I got an email from one of my webinar students the other night that made me just bawl my eyes out, because she took a technique I taught her during the webinar and out into the woods, and had this amazing experience. And people ask me why I do what I do, why I put myself through the torture I do. It's for messages like that. because I truly believe that if our species has any chance of making it, it is apologizing to the earth, using our technology to repair some of the damage and figure out different ways to live. Um, Stop killing each other, stop needlessly killing other things. We're smarter than that. We should have been done with that stuff eons ago. But alas, people, just don't seem to learn from the past. And yeah, and I don't like that. So that's about all I got for y'all today. I am sweating like crazy. So I am going to go do a few things and then go search for my drone one more time. And I will schedule another T3Live probably for next week. But yeah, as I said, if you could just share my GoFundMe with your nature friends, it would mean the world to me. Because if I could do away with that stress of money, of lack of money, I would, the work that I create will be that much better because it won't be tainted by, there's a bard out right there. Won't be tainted by the anxiety and the constant rush to try to fit the puzzle pieces together. Life is too short to hurry. It's what I tell people at stores when I'm waiting in line and the cashier's like, I'll be right with you. I'm saying, life is too short to hurry. But yeah, I need some time for myself. I need some time where I'm not just, working from sun up until sundown and then past sundown, well past sundown. Thank you all, as usual, for tuning in to T3Live. You guys are amazing. You guys are what keep me going. You keep the fire burning within me. And yeah, there aren't even enough words to tell you how much gratitude I have for you all. So thank y'all very